How you doing, fam bam? This is Chrismizo here, and as you know, we had to move our whole entire life with us to a whole nother state. Matter of fact, it's about over 1,000 miles away. We moved from the northeast of US all the way down south in sunny Florida. Unfortunately, moving is one of those things that you may or may not have to do. But in case if you have to move into another state as far as I did, or even moving to another country, I'm going to tell you everything that I've learned, especially about moving PC parts, because it is a very touchy and sensitive subject. And if you package anything wrong, it can cause catastrophic damage to your PC and to your monitors. And that's the very last thing you want to do. So we're going to get straight to it. I'm going to tell you everything that you can do to completely avoid this catastrophic disaster. Honestly, it's one of those things where it's very easy to forget because your PC is mostly sitting in one place and it's stationary. But when your PC is in motion, it is not made to hit speed bumps or even being thrown around. So tip number one, sell all your PC and all your PC equipment. It's honestly one of the easiest ways to move because you don't have to worry about having a heavy PC and having it sit just right when you do move your PCs, because it can become very troublesome and it is very unfavorable when you're moving somewhere 1,000 miles away or even up to 5,000 miles away for your PC to travel that far. And again, your PC is not made to be in motion, it is meant to be stationary. So all those PC components that you have in your PC are very sensitive. Or it can also be unfavorable for you to sell your PC, especially when there is a scarcity of PC components. We all know GPUs are near impossible to find, especially if you have a 30 series card in your PC. You can always bring the 30 series card with you, but then again, do you have access to every other PC component that you do need for your PC build? And these are very important to remember, especially if you are thinking of selling your PC. You're probably going to end up losing money out of the deal, and you're probably going to have to build a PC with a little bit of extra cost. If your PC's older, it might be a very valid option for you just to sell your PC and just build a new one if you can. Tip number two, keep the original packaging for your PC. That packaging is very specific to your PC case or your pre-built PC. The styrofoam is built to sit very flush around your PC case where it does not really shake too badly. It doesn't take as much vibrations. There are other parts you have to worry about, which I will explain soon, and how you can prevent any type of damage inside of your PC. Those PC cases, the PC boxes that you do have, save them if you already have them. You want to also seal off any openings in your box just in case if there's any type of weather such as rain, snow, or anything like that. You want to seal it off to where it cannot get inside. Of course, it's a cardboard box. Water can soak it up a little bit. You want to try to prevent water actually getting into your PC case. Try to keep it dry in a dry storage area at least if you are moving. So make sure to seal off all the corners. Make sure to seal on the top of your case with tape, and any openings or seams that you do see, or maybe your cat or your dog punctured it in some sort of way, you can tape up that puncture to where you can seal it off. That is one of the most vital things to do, especially if you are going to pack a PC in the box. Tip number three, remove any PC components that stick out pretty far, especially with heat sinks. GPUs are pretty damn heavy. You do not want that GPU to flap around in the backseat of a car, or you don't want the guy at the airport throwing your PC box inside of the airplane where it can possibly get damaged. There are horror stories out there. If you haven't heard, people's PCI Express card, specifically a GPU, breaking off into the PCI Express bus. And that's something you don't really want to, otherwise you're gonna have to purchase a brand new GPU. Maybe that's a good excuse if you're looking to get upgraded GPU. Tell your wife, hey, I gotta upgrade my GPU. But anyway, the point is, you wanna remove anything like heat sinks, such as even like a heatsink SSD or heatsink RAM, anything that will stick out. You don't want to have any weight on your motherboard because gravity does exist. When something gets thrown around, believe it or not, it's going to be hit with 3 or 4 times the force when it gets thrown into something. If you do have the boxes for your components, make sure you stick it inside the box. Now you have a very good reason why to keep some of your boxes, because they do come in handy. Regardless if you're planning to sell or if you're planning to move, you never really plan for events like this. But anyway, the point is, make sure to separate your components, because you do not want any damage to your PC components when you do a move. Tip number 4, you don't have the original boxing for your PC case, or you don't have the original boxing for your PC components, so make sure to wrap it in something like an ESD bag. If you don't know what an ESD bag, it is a silver looking bag that usually comes with your PC components, or pink bubble wrap. Typically it's pink bubble wrap. Make sure it is ESD, which is electrostatic discharge bags. You want to make sure to have those. You can check out the link right down below if you don't have anything like that and you're planning to move sometime soon, or if you're just planning to store something. It is very good to keep it inside of an ESD bag, because when you do move components, you will create some sort of static, especially when you are moving. You could, from moving to a more drier climate, such as if you're moving out west, you want to make sure you have some decent ESD bags. The last thing you want to do is damage the component. It may look perfectly fine when you arrive to your destination, but when you plug it in and you realize that it is dead, then that is something you're going to have to deal with. And more than likely, if you do have a newer GPU, RAM, anything like that, they will not honor the warranty, because it's going to be under a limited warranty, and it's kind of hard to fool a manufacturer if they see you moving 5,000 miles away. So please protect your components. Make sure to get the proper ESD bags for your components and your PC. So tip number 5, make sure to have everything properly secured. If you followed through tip number 1, you don't really have to worry about any of this. Tip number 2, if you have the box already, you don't really have to worry about this as much either, but maybe you already have some loose components. Make sure that you have your PC secured. If you do not have the original box, make sure it is properly wrapped around ESD. Make sure to get something like styrofoam in your box, so that way it can prevent from PC movement. You do not want your PC to bounce around in a box, or any of your components to be bouncing around in a box. If you're planning to move by vehicle, make sure it is secure into the back seat. Make sure it's mostly stationary, where it's not flipping around or it's not hitting the bumps too badly to the point where you have to worry about PC damage. So make sure it is in a nice, secure, tight spot. And if you don't have the luxury of driving to your destination, to your move, then if you're traveling by airplane, they also do have other viable options, which is to have Pelican PC cases. Pelican makes very decent PC cases, but they can be also really expensive. Now, if your PC is really worth spending money for a Pelican case, then go for it. Get a Pelican case, because it is the most secure aircraft way of travel, I can say. If you have to purchase a box specifically, I would recommend something off of Amazon. They typically have some boxes, and you can check that out in the description down below, but they do have some desktop PC boxes. Make sure you check the dimensions of your PC to make sure it actually fits in there. If it doesn't, I do recommend going to U-Haul, because they actually have very decent boxes for electronics. That's the ones you're going to want to look for, medium to large electronic boxes. And it's good to double pack your items for extra security, especially if you're bringing a PC. And if you, same with the monitors. If you have monitors, make sure to put it in a original boxing if it is possible. Now, if you are going by aircraft, make sure to secure your PC in a box, or have a Pelican box, or have it extra ESDs in there with some styrofoam in there to where you won't have to worry about any bouncing around. But I hope you found this content very useful. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you know anyone who is moving or who is interested into this content, make sure you share this video. And also, if you're looking for any PC builds, please contact me on my email down below. If you need help with PC builds, or if you're looking for a custom build, just contact me. And also, make sure you go down and hit the subscribe button for more to join the big wonderful fan bam, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. And for all the newest updates, make sure you follow my Twitter handle right here, as it is the same as my TikTok and IG as well. Fan bam guys, let me know if you're planning to move somewhere far, somewhere where you've always wanted to go. It is always fun to adventure somewhere new. We are finally just about almost all settled here. It has been quite the hassle, but it has been a big relief after getting everything done. Now we're kind of on cruise control, which is a really, really nice, big feeling of relief. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Chrismizo signing out.